So anyway, I am actually now going to say hello to someone rather special, as in June a book came out called Gay Dad, and on the end of the phone we have the author, David. Hello.
Hi, Andy.
Thank you very much for calling in.
You're welcome. I was quite enjoying that music.
Is it Louis or Lewis? I'm sure it's Louis Armstrong, isn't it?
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, sorry, that'd be me reading things a bit too quick. So now, I'm fascinated by this book. I mean, I've got notes from our producer here. There's pages and pages of it, and I was having to read through it. It sounds like you've had quite a fascinating time researching it. But before I ask you about what happened going into it, give our listeners an idea what the book is about.
Sure. Well, the book is a collection, basically, of 10 true life stories of gay men who have been married and have had kids, but particularly gay men living in the UK today, because when I was going through that process of, coming to terms with my sexuality and going through a separation, I couldn't find anything that I could relate to other stories of other men in a similar situation, and that's basically why I put this book together.
Right. So is there very little out there then for people who went through that or are going through that kind of situation?
Well, as I said, I couldn't find anything. I mean, that there are stories of celebrities and sports stars, and particularly on the American market, and also for like single parents or same-sex couples who wish to adopt. There's quite a plethora, if you like, of books about that, but nothing that spoke about, the experiences of gay men who have been married and gone through marriage and had kids and, have come out the other end and have had to, work through the trauma that obviously impacts on everyone's lives.
So, first question then, is your own story one of the ones that forms part of the book?
It is, yes.
I mean, that must be quite personal to go into it for yourself.
It is, yeah, but it's very cathartic. I mean, when I approached the guys to do this, who I met through a support website called Gay Dads UK, I was sort of inundated with offers of people telling their stories, because I think it's a very cathartic thing to do, and especially if you're in a safe environment and your voice is being heard. Some of the men were perfectly happy for their names to be put to their stories. Some of them were less so. So I just thought, to make things easier, it would be better that it was all anonymous. And also, you have to take into account the ex-wives, children, parents, other relatives who may not be, comfortable about things being public.
So, is the book all about kind of just giving other people's experience of it in the hope that it'll help them through the same kind of thing? Yeah,
I mean, there's 10 stories, all completely different. They all come from different backgrounds, different social circles. There's a Sikh guy. There's a guy who grew up in quite a Christian background as well. Rich, poor, whatever. But also interspersed with that, there's quite a lot of factual stuff, because when I was researching this, I found that there was stuff that I didn't even know. For instance, the term homosexual is quite relatively new. It was only something coined in the 19th century by a German physicist called Karl Ulrichs, who wanted to put people into labelled boxes, and I think this has been a lot of the problem that we've suffered since.
It's one of the things we do very well in society, is label boxes.
Yeah, it is. It seems that people can't, we're all guilty of it. If you can't sort of name something and see what it is and have some description of it, you can't sort of deal with it.
Okay. In your research, did you find a lot of people sort of moved into a heterosexual, for lack of a better term, relationship because of peer pressure, and then sort of realised that they weren't living the life they should?
I think there's a lot of denial, of course, and I think it's easier in some ways to go with the flow when you don't have any gay friends or any, you're not moving in those sort of circles, and you know, you might literally be the only gay in the town or the village, or indeed if you have any gay friends, you might not relate to them. But from all these stories, and myself included, we married for absolutely the right reason, and that was because we fell in love. It just so happened that the person that we fell in love with was a woman. And I think, you know, it's for my case, I you know, both my wife and I were naive. I mean, she knew that I'd had relationships and experiences with men before we got married. I don't want to talk for her because that, you know, the book is not about the wives.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, often in relationships, people think that they might be able to change someone, or influence them in some way. But
it's called Gay Dad, but having been the person that wrote the book, is it also something that would be very good to help people who aren't the actual gay dad, say like the wife or the children? Or
yeah, absolutely. I really hope so. In fact, I hope that, you know, older children whose fathers or indeed mothers have come out and you know, declared their sexuality in a marriage, would read it and hopefully realise that, you know, this is not such an abnormal thing. I think it's far more normal than we think. But I think, as in heterosexual marriages, I think people stay together often for the children or for careers or whatever. And I think, you know, the people who make the decision to, you know, have a new life and to leave the marriage, it's a very traumatic time. But I hope that the book will show that in the end, positivity comes through for everybody involved, because obviously, you know, in the end, everyone is living the life that they should have been living.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, it's lovely to talk to you about it, and I have to say, having read some of the notes that we got on it, it sounds like an absolutely fascinating read. And I personally would say go have a read of it. But it's on sale now, isn't it? Is it usual kind of places, Amazon and all the books?
Yeah, Amazon and Kindle. It's available, and you can find me on my Facebook page or Twitter page, which is at Gay Dad Book. But yes, you'll be able to find it on Amazon, I hope, fairly easily. David Ledain.
Cool, brilliant. Well, listen, we'll do what we always do as well, and we'll make sure we link to it from our website. But thank you ever so much for calling in to tell us about it.
You're welcome.
Best of luck
I've
with
enjoyed
it.
Thanks very much.
Cool. You're listening to Shoutout. Big thank you to Dave there. It sounds fascinating, doesn't it? Yeah, honestly, I've had a read of a few little bits, and it's quite interesting. It's something I mean, because I never went through it, so it's not something I've thought about so much. But yeah,
Good for having a good dad.
So yeah, if you're interested, we will put a link to it on our website, so you can find it. David Ledain, Gay Dad.